I think that's it for the build. That's it for the build. And this thing is huge. Like, you can't tell by on the camera, but like right now, I should get the measuring tape. This thing, it's the dimensions are, if I remember correctly, it's like 70 by 70 centimeters. So 70 centimeters this way, and so length and height 70, and then width I think it was 30. And one other thing I like about the case too is that you can appreciate the RGBs when you're sitting here like this. At night, I don't even run the RGB. They look really nice in the daytime, but at night I don't have them on. So let's go over to the temperatures, right? So here is, I wanted to start with the before. So before, right? This is typical, comparable ambient, right? Room temperature, 65 to 70 degrees Fahrenheit. That makes a difference, but this is one of those days where I was like, this is like where it's like, well, I have a problem. I absolutely have a problem because I hit nearly 61 degrees on the GPU core, you know, and that's with the undervolt, as you can see there. GPU clock 2730 megahertz. This is a maximum. And look at the hotspot, nearly 77 degrees. Memory junction I was never worried about, but this right here was a problem. And this is why I set off down as like I have to take the block apart. I have to get to the root of this problem because this is almost like air cooler temperatures, especially with an undervolt, especially only at 427 watts peak. So this is typical now. And this is actually high now because I have video the other day, or the night before last, where I was playing Grand Theft Auto 5, dialing the fans in, and ambient was 69 degrees Fahrenheit or 21 degrees Celsius, and my water temperature was 26 degrees Celsius. So I had a 5-degree delta over ambient for water, and my GPU, I was at 35 to 36 degrees. 35, 36, 37 degrees at this same frequency at around 370 watts in Cyberpunk 2077. And I couldn't believe that I was playing the game at 35 degrees. So in fact, this is a 2-hour, nearly 3-hour play session. And those are the averages, right? So it did peak at 41 degrees at one point, but this was the average. Yeah, I was like at 35 degrees, right? And look at the hotspot. It dropped by, the problem with this one is that this is a 6-hour session where I wasn't playing the entire time. So the averages are going to be skewed. It wasn't 45 degrees average. It was like 55 degree average. Because I don't play that much anymore, dude. I'll be honest with you. Like I built the system and I have all this, but I honestly don't play more than a couple hours a day. So these averages are skewed because that's a 6-hour time period, but I wasn't playing the entire time. So I may have taken a break. I may have gone to have a snack. I may have had lunch, browse around the internet. But typically like average before at that power usage, or actually around the same wattage, this would be, in fact, I'm going to show you. So I would play Cyberpunk 2077 and let's get a baseline. Lower left in purple, that's actually water temperature. And one caveat with this, when you're seeing that, these front fans aren't even moving, okay? The top rad fans are moving at 20% RPM. The rear rad fans, you can see how slow they're moving. They're moving at 20% RPM. You can't hear anything. I only do this basically to keep air flowing over the chipset, etc., and the DIMMs. Okay, because for longevity purposes, the fans are just putting along here. Now, last night at comparable ambient, a few degrees higher, in fact, and it might show in game. In fact, I'm gonna start it. So I got activate RGB and hotkey. We're gonna activate RGB. Turn on my surround sound. Turn on my. I have all my overclock and profiles and hotkey, and we're gonna start Cyberpunk 2077. Actually, I want to restart WinFo. Restart WinFo. to get a baseline. You're going to see, actually, in fact, you're going to see water temperature is going to go down. So I'm in a part of the game where I just met with Takamura. This is an older game, so I'm pretty sure I'm not spoiling anything. And we're supposed to go in. It's very dim. This is the only problem with this game with I don't know why it's so goddamn dim. Yeah, I actually didn't know why. It's very dim because of this setting here. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and show you my settings. Let me go ahead and show you my settings. So, graphics, right? I'm running DLSS and performance. This is DLSS 4. And what I really like about DLSS 4 is that it was basically a free upgrade because DLSS 4 performance looks like DLSS 3 on quality. They really improved DLSS. So it's like, and that right there is like a 25% performance improvement. I'm not kidding. It's like the old DLSS on quality. These are all the settings I have. I have path tracing on. Okay, full path tracing. Everything's maxed out. And I have frame generation on, as you can see. And I'm at 7680 by 2160 or dual 4K. But the problem I have here is that this is the problem right here. This HDR10 plus gaming. Watch how bright it gets. You see that? I don't know why this dims the image. It's really annoying. It's very buggy. Anyhow, let's go back out and pull up telemetry. So this is baseline, right? Now, once the fans turn on, yeah, so right now I have a 10 degree over delta. I have a 10 degree delta over water with the GP core. GP core is 39 degrees, 40 degrees, right? 375 watts, 69 FPS. So this is total full path tracing. Full path tracing. Love this 32x9 dual 4K. Full path tracing. And I'm at 69 FPS. But that's just right here. Sometimes it'll dip down to like the low 60s or high 50s on rare occasion. But typically it's like 65, 70 FPS. And now the fans have started to ramp up. And you can see the water temperature is dropping. And that will come down to 26 degrees. So in fact, I'm going to mute the game. And we're going to let that run for a minute. I want to show you how it sounds. The front rad fans I have set to turn on, I think up to like, I believe 40% RPM at 33 degrees in the GPU core. All right, where was I? I actually ran out of space. Ran out of space on my phone. I don't have much time. Why is it saying I have 1 minute? Oh God, I have to sort this out. I just deleted like a 25 gig video, and it's still saying I have 1 minute left of space. This is very annoying. This fan here, really, really awesome as an intake fan, and you can feel the pressure. It's really feeding these fans pretty well. I am hearing some fan noise. And I'm trying to figure out. I believe the fan noise is coming from the front. I believe I made the mistake of setting them to 40% RPM at 33, 35 degrees Celsius, whereas before they were at 40% RPM at 40 degrees Celsius, which it wouldn't even hit. So they're running a little bit higher, and that's a bit loud for my taste. I think I'm going to dial it back to 35% RPM. But the fans are running at 50% or less. Yeah, as I was saying, I had to go in and, man, I had to pause the video because I actually ran out of space in the video, and I had to go and delete a bunch of big files. As I was trying to say, these front rad fans are running a little bit faster than I'd like. They're making a hum. This is only 40% RPM. I don't know if you can hear this on camera. but that's actually louder than I would like. I believe I had them on a linear curve where they would go up to 40% RPM at 40 degrees Celsius on the GPU core, and I didn't like this kind of oscillating back and forth, so I basically dialed that trigger point back to 33, 35 degrees Celsius so that they hit 40% RPM much earlier. Problem now is that I'm finding that I don't like 40% RPM, whereas before they'd fluctuate between 35% because the GPU won't even hit 40 degrees Celsius. This bottom right fan is the star of the show here. He is doing a lot of work because he's got unobstructed access to fresh airflow from underneath, and you can feel the pressure. Like I can feel the pressure on the bottom of my hand all the way up here. So he's doing a lot of work. Rear rad fans are also helping, and then I've got the 90-degree angle fan in there. Backplate is cool to the touch. Cool. Well, it's just lukewarm. It's not cool to the touch per se, but it's not hot. I've felt hot backplates before. I had a 1080 Ti on one of those AIO coolers I was talking about earlier, and no cooling in the backplate, and that backplate used to get so hot. I swear to God, I thought that I could cook an egg on it. But we're gonna have a look at these temperatures. So it's been running for about I'm gonna say three to 5 minutes now while I was trying to sort out my storage issue. We get a look at ambient. 67 degrees Fahrenheit, which is around 19 degrees Celsius, 20 degrees Celsius. That's how it looks and sounds. Okay, let's go over here. Let's have a look at the temperatures. So that's Cyberpunk 2077, everything maxed out, path tracing enabled, RTX 4090 at 370 watts, 2730 megahertz, 0.975 undervolt, 70 FPS. Water is 25 degrees. Lower left, water, temp sensor, 25 degrees. GPU core, top left, is 35 degrees. Color me impressed. Color me impressed. That's at 5 degrees over ambient. 25 degree water temperature at 67 degrees Fahrenheit, which is like 20 degrees Celsius. So I'm 5 degrees over water. Full tilt, RTX 4090 at nearly 400 watts, 370 watts. So that's a reduction of water temperature from 11 degrees over ambient to 5 degrees over ambient. So I got a 6 degree reduction in water temperature. I have right now, previously, this would be like 55 degrees. Not exaggerating. That would be 55 degrees, the GPU. GPU would be 55 degrees. Water would be 30, 31, 32 degrees. And hotspot would be 70 to 74 degrees. That's incredible. Mission accomplished. I'm beyond satisfied with how this came out, how it looks, the performance. I've been building PCs. This is my third PC I built. My first one was a Corsair Air 540. Back then it was a 4930K. Initially a pair of 780 Ti's. Then I upgraded to a 980 Ti. Then a 1080 Ti. Then I went from that to 8700K and the new the chassis that succeeded it, which is the Thermaltake V71. This is the most impressive I've seen. I'm gonna tell you one thing. Other thing I love about this build is pairing an overkill water surface area system. Like I have 4 480s. Two 480 by 120 by 45 in the front, and 2 480 by 120 by 30 in the ceiling. One thing I love about having that much rad surface area available on tap is that this system is relatively relatively efficient. I have a 7800X3D and a 4090 with an undervolt. Let's go look at how much power this thing's sucking now. So that's full tilt.